Alrighty, let's see. I think I am live. Welcome everyone. It is Friday, which means Second Dynasty is streaming. I am your host and also the owner of Second Dynasty, Ben. And this week we just have a quieter session. Shout out to John from John Games and his mum. Welcome to the show. This week's been a bit of a shorter one. I had a sick dog the other day that I was taking care of, gotten a little bit less done. There's a few new things to show off with the Delta, but the Delta has been my primary focus. Albin has been on a special project which went very well. You'll be hearing more about that in the future. But in the immediate future, we are going to be launching the Delta on the 6th of February. So it is kind of important that everything is in place. Don't worry, there is budgeted time for Traveller next week. We still want to get out all of those stretch goals as soon as possible. And both Albin and John have projects that they're working on. So, let me see if I can see the chat there. Microphone, new potato. Really? Oh, it's working. Okay. Freaking me out, John. Thank you. Excellent start. So guys, welcome. Nice to see so many people already in the chat. Today we're going to do something a bit different. So, normally I just pick something that I'm going to work on. But with this campaign coming so close, this is actually this is not quite the Delta 2400. Let me take off these and add this. So it has alternative turrets. And I took off the port airlock, but not the Mark 23 turret. Sorry, my scene is a bit of a mess. Okay, so this is the default version. Put a bit of lighting on. Get it to be a little bit, let's see, a little bit more interesting. So the 2400 has these unique engines, a few different changes, a little scanning area on the side there, different turrets, which I've shown off in previous weeks. So this is our ode to a certain millennial bird of prey, suitable for a galaxy far, far away. But when we launch, this is launching on Frontiers, which is My Mini Factory's own crowdfunding platform. Only really it's like a launch platform. So you're actually getting the finished product on the spot the second you are backing the project. However, as it is crowdfunding, there are milestones, which are the equivalent of stretch goals if we were talking about a traditional crowdfunding campaign on, say, Kickstarter. So I do need to prepare and visualize a couple of stretch goals. This is not a big campaign. I'm not expecting a huge amount of money. Honestly, I'd just like it to fund the update that I did to the 1700 back in December. And we have some fun new add-ons to look at. Speaking of which, the Centennial Eagle, yes. I have done a couple of interesting things since the last time I've shown off this ship. And I always like to show something off in Maya because I feel like the end result is actually better. But I do want to point out that in the information down below for this video, you will find a link to the Frontier page. If you follow that link, sign up, and you happen to have a registered My Mini Factory account, you will get a free bonus item that has just been released in its 1.01 form. There were some missing parts, and the 3MF for the bamboo didn't seem to want to read from a Prusa or whatnot, so I made a Prusa one as well. And yes, what am I talking about? I am talking about this little fellow right here. Yay! My secondary camera is not really that great at focusing. You can see my table's a bit of a workshop. Wow, that is really horrible. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Focus on my finger. Focus on my finger. There you go. Focus on my finger. There you go. Alright, so this is it. It's a little shuttle pod version of the bridge. I will show it in 3D. And actually, I'll set this down. Well, it came good for a second and then it went bad again. We'll do this so you can kind of get an idea of scale. Yeah, this thing really doesn't want to focus for some reason. Rightio. There we go. There we go. So that's that. Let me switch to my close-up cam and I'll actually, because this camera seems to be a lot better in quality. Let's move this up and we can get a look at it. So it does have these articulated thrusters. I checked, it does fit on the front of a 1700 model. You could attach it to the front of a 2400. It's compatible with all deltas. Alright, so yeah, that's free. Get it now, follow the link, and while you're at it, why not like and subscribe, please. And now I will focus on the chat again, because I really have ignored it. So let's see, what are people saying? I wish the audio could be louder, please. Hard to hear even with all the settings to the max. Let's see, I guess I can move this closer. But, yeah, maybe the microphone actually has defaulted to the wrong one. Let's see, I'm going to just check some settings in OBS. Let's see, audio output capture, no, it's the correct one. Desktop microphone, So yeah, I don't know, I can try upping the decibels a little bit if people think it's a bit too quiet. Maybe this is a bit better. There we go. Not spiking too hard, hopefully. So let me know if that's better in the chat. So how does this work? What does this thing look like? What are we going to do today? Yeah, the free model thing, it's out there. You can check it for yourself. There are no instructions, but there's only a few pieces. Let's have a look at what I'm calling the Delta Shuttle Pod. And I will select these objects and we'll just isolate them so we can have a good look. Whoops. Let's do a focus. We can rotate the camera around. So how this works is, I have spent a significant amount of time redesigning the cockpit canopy, and I can say that after a lot of work, the 1700 version, which is this, the traditional Delta one, prints support free. So at first I did this by splitting up the top so it's its own section. So we lift this out. Let's actually put this on my grid. Lift that out. You can see there's new added detail to the interior as well, both this and the bottom section. There's a tiny little foot to land on here. So this could work as an escape pod, as a little shuttle pod. I'm planning a stretch goal in the campaign to be redesigning the bridge insert, this thing, so that we have updated seating. I want to make it support free because as it is now, this is the only part in the entire 1700 ship that needs any forms of support, and it's really only because of these chairs. So yeah, what I did, if we just look at this, is we actually split the front and the back section. We have these pins here, this sort of thick frame. The pins go down into holes in the hull there, and then the same is with the front here. It just has two pins that drop down, print nice and easy, far less prone to errors. I thicken these up enough too that hopefully it should all work rather nicely. So yeah, whoop, bit further there. So yeah, what do you guys think of the shuttle pod? Enjoy. Like I said, you can get this right now. It's free. All you have to do is hit the link in the description below and press sign up to the Frontiers page, and you'll be able to 3D print this on your very own 3D printer. It is designed for FDM printing. It's possible to print it in resin, but it's honestly better to do in FDM. So yeah, I'm happy with this. I think it's cool. I love how it fits in. I think it has the right level of detail. And this didn't... I managed to whip this up in a day. So I'm pretty pleased with that. If I could do that for a lot of stretch goals, I would. The other thing I prepared and want to show off is if I turn off the 2400 interior, it takes the engines with it, and then we could turn off this traditional aft section because I want to add back in my milestone start. So this would be a bit higher up, but we have an alternative rear for the ship. Actually, let's just get rid of the frame here. There we go. So yeah, we have a more traditional, Centennial Eagle style rear engine section. It still needs a lot of interior detailing. It's not quite printable at the moment. But yes, this will be a higher up stretch goal, something that's worthy of, if we hit a significant number like 10k or something like that. So it's not impossible because the campaign will also have opportunities to get the 1700, the 2400, and I'm thinking of just putting in a Cerberus update while I'm at it for those people coming off Gaming Geek's latest review. So what I thought we would do today is design a stretch goal that will be used in the campaign. And I have two options. I'm going to take let's take 5 minutes now, and you guys can make your suggestions. It can be whatever it wants to be, but I want you to know what my suggestions are going to be, and then I will start a poll based on like maybe one suggestion that I see that people think are a good idea and I think is doable in a reasonable amount of time. That's the other thing. There's technical restrictions on this, I guess. So the two I was going to suggest today is an alternative turret, not to this kind, but instead of the Mark 23 turret, which is this older style one. I don't feel this looks very Star Warsy, so my goal is to take this as a base model and make it feel like it's from a galaxy far, far away. And then the next one would be, what if we actually took out this front section so that it actually has that sort of like gap in between. Yeah, that would be the idea. Those are my two ideas, so make your suggestions now in the chat. I'll read through them and have a look. I'm just going to scroll back a little bit and see what we've got, because there's a lot of chat today, which is great to see. And by the way, hello to everyone. It's nice to see some familiar faces and some newer faces. A lot of the names I recognize as well from our Discord. I believe we have the link to our Discord channel also in the video description, so check that out. It's quite an active page. You can see a lot of behind the scenes work, a lot of awesome paint jobs that our fans have done. Yeah, great stuff to enjoy. Okay, the Lustrum Condor, that's an interesting one. The Condor is actually what I called this engine section, actually. I haven't named the parts yet, but yeah, the Condor... what a slip. We're back to talking about the Traveller campaign. Anyway, so, by the way, guys, yeah, okay, you guys said that the audio is much better, which is good. Let's see. Mon Capitan says, the arms for the small craft passenger chairs were good, attached differently. Yeah, we'd probably look at something more in that style where it's self-supporting. And actually, that's probably a good place to... Actually, I could probably just rip those chairs out and stick them in, to be honest, without too much modification. Maybe just changing like the headrest style, changing the width to create some variation, so it's not just a boring rehash of the same old thing. But they do have belts on them as well, which is cool. Totally Glitch says I'll share a picture of it on my my new work desk next week. Of the passenger chairs, I'm guessing. Let's see. Oh no, the chat's gone all over the place. Mont Capitan says I like the way the new screen is in 2 parts to print flat. Yeah. Martin says very cute. I like it. I will give it a try. Oh, that's Fabian. Great. Michael Tenery says very detailed for a small craft, 1 day's work. That's insane. Well, to be fair, it's recycling old parts. So I took existing parts and created a variation that was printable in that short time. So that doesn't mean that, I could have built that from scratch in that time. That's not possible. But repurposing existing parts lets me do that. And now that's one of the benefits of having such a large library of back catalog items. Michael Wagner says modify the asymmetric variant so that it is a dock for the shuttle. I mean, that already works. It's compatible with the cockpit. You just attach it. So yeah, it works with the asymmetric variant. Mon Capitan says wasn't the gap in the original meant to hold cargo containers? Oh, you mean the Falcon? Something like that. It's not going to be holding cargo containers, I don't think. I'm only talking structurally so you can get that aesthetic. Not about taking it any further than that. In fact, I'm not sure it's going to be compatible because we need to create some kind of inner hull wall, so it's not going to be 2 inches wide. It will probably be a gap of 1.5 inches, something like that. Let's see. Solo Spirit says escape pods. You could have that cockpit doubling as an escape pod. Totally Glitch says, will the gap still have an airlock? I mean, it is meant to sort of create an airlock with that gap at the back, but you do still need to dock. Michael Tenery says, let's not start that. Yeah, indeed. Sugargirl says, well, don't send a pilot into battle without a cover. I always used to like the Falcon as a container pusher. It would be really cool fitting containers. Okay, it could be really cool. However, it's not going to work in practice so well. Maybe if... Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to fit containers in between here because our containers are built to be too... Well... Oh. I say that now. Okay, here's the issue. The current floors... Let's put on the 2400 floors there. Whoops, that's the light blocker. That's not the same thing. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. Actually, no. What we'll do is we'll take the top off. So let's remove the top cockpit, the upper hull, so we can look down in between. So basically the floors come out like this. So I don't know. I was thinking like I need to preserve the shape here. But in truth, I don't think we can use these floors as they are, because we would be taking and modifying these pieces, so we might have to change that floor anyway if we were to do what I was suggesting. So that's one option. Let's see. Larger rear cargo ramp. That's a massive job. I'm just not doing it. It's as simple as that. Putting in a cargo ramp that worked in the first place was like probably figuring out that rear section when I did the 1700 upgrade was about a week's worth of work. It's not that it's out of scope with what I could do for a stretch goal if it was a high one up, but here's the bottom line. I don't want to do that again. I just don't. Maybe I'll feel differently in a year or two, but I don't want to do that one. This is one of the rare instances where it's not a case of it's impossible or it's not practical or it's too much reworking. It is a lot of reworking. It's just one of the things where I'm going to take my veto and say no. Dennis Appel says, I would love to see an option to extend the ship back in a straight line immediately in front of the lateral corridor tubes to give more interior cargo or passenger quarters. It already exists, my friend. It's called the Long Delta, and it basically takes this midsection and just lengthens the ship. And in fact, there's a version of it, and it has a little hangar where you could put in like a starfighter. That one we did for, I think, Starship 5. Totally Glitch says, Liger also wants a larger cargo container. The chat is, there's just so much chat going on. I can't cover it all. The container pusher drawing was fan art, not the original concept, says Brian Rombau. Will Richards says, make an adapter to allow cargo containers just past the bow of the ship. Side ramps, front ramp, middle ramp, ramp on the roof. More ramp suggestions, I see. Technically, a side ramp could work. We're not going to... Okay, this is one I would not do today. We definitely can't do a concept in under an hour. But it's not the worst idea. Insofar as ideas are concerned. The only issue is, like, it becomes a printability issue because this piece prints flat like so. So if you put a ramp, even just like a 1-inch thick ramp here, it would have to... It all depends, like if it extends out, but if you mean like more a Falcon style, it drops down. This is the room you'd have to play with, because you've got to imagine that the landing gear... Well, this is not really holding landing gear, is it? So, in theory, yes, I like the idea. I don't think we can do anything with it today. Let's see. Alternate sensor dish is certainly something we could do. So I'm going side ramp in a docking tube. Yeah, I mean that's more or less like what we're talking about. Oh, in a docking tube. Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay, so I'm going to create a poll. C. Ray Starling says, I used to work for Martin Metals and FASA making molds for travel and Star Trek miniatures. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Very nice. A turret for the front or some sort of weapon adaptations. Alright, I'm going to take... Because again, we have about 35 minutes to create a visualization, and we do need to create a... like a poll. So I'm going to which stretch to work on. Forward prongs of the Falcon gap, that is like making a version of the hull so that you can have a gap here. It could potentially fit a container. The other one is turret variant, and the third one, we had a suggestion there. I think it will work. Is like alternate scanner / radar dish. All right, let's start the poll. Get voting. We have 28 people concurrently viewing this stream, so once we've got at least half of you in for votes, we can start looking and seeing what the trajectory will be. So, actually, we might get cancelled for doing that, so let's not. Oh, by the way, the upstairs, I don't think I've shown this off, so I should probably turn the 2400 interior back on. We'll put the correct aft back on. Traditional aft is back on. What else do we need to turn on or off? We need to turn off the milestones, and we need to put the top. Let's see, upper hull, top cockpit. that should be a complete ship now. Yes, it looks like that. Yeah, I don't think I've shown off what's inside the cabin here. We now have a galley. This is something I know Shadow Liger was keen on. So yeah, it is kind of recycled from the same kind of galleys that we've been having. This one though is a little bit more custom fit. It uses the same kind of slot system that we started with Traveller. It also has the back wall. I'm sorry I haven't changed the flooring here. I made a part just before the stream and they got sidetracked by fixing the shuttle pod because it was not behaving like a good shuttle pod does. So let's just stick this back in. Albin's got the day off today, which is why it's so quiet. Liesl is here, so don't bad mouth her. I don't want to hear any of that. So yeah, we've got this nice little seating area. This is meant to be like the crew galley. So basically, it's like an office lunchroom, right? For a small office, you're probably eating in shifts, not together. If you didn't have a passengers on board, maybe you would go down and use the more luxurious passenger galley. But yeah, this is what the top ended up being. Comparing that to what the original version was, which was just a couple of tiles with no real detailed walls or anything, no ability to actually see down into that area. I think this is going to work nicely. So let's see. Wow, this is actually very tight. Let's see, we've got 22 votes in, and actually it's a tie. We need a tiebreaker because it's a 36% forward prongs, alternative scanner / radar dish, or turret variant. So if you are one of the 4 additional people that currently hasn't voted of the people here, please put in 1 vote because we need to end this poll. The cutter modules fitting in the front. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. They're a bit too big. The cutter modules may be like that large in comparison, so... oh man, it just... They voted for the turret variant. I should have said vote for anything that's not the turret variant. Because we are running out of time here. I'm stressing a little over that, and for some reason I can't really scroll the chat so well. So, let's see. Do we have one more vote, or are we just going to end the poll and it'll be the top one? I did say 5 minutes, but... So yeah, we need a tiebreaker. Yeah. I think... I mean, they're all quite easy, but also in half an hour we're only going to get so far. So, yeah. What to do? To be fair, I will probably do all 3 of those things. And yeah, I think almost all of these are compatible with the baseline delta, and therefore also the delta's stretch goals. And that's probably going to be a possibility, updating one of those stretch goals. It might be cool to do like a new asymmetric variant that actually, like if we took this sort of like angled section here and added it on this side before it sort of melds into that, so you could get like this moving into a cockpit area there, but in this direction. That would be cool. Alright, we haven't gotten any more votes, so if I hit end poll, what does it say? 1. The top one, oh, it says 34% now. I'm assuming that, considering the fact that the forward prongs says 34% and alternative scanner is 34%, yeah, it should be compatible with the delta fuselage stretch. It should be. Let's see, I need to look at a couple of comments here. Okay, we're just going to go with this as it's the first one of those 34s. I know that's not really fair or arbitrary. We're going to start by grabbing the items that we need, and I'm going to also grab the interior floor tiles if I can find them. Where am I? There we go. So this is what I'm going to grab and duplicate, and hopefully that's just the one file now. Yes. So this is what we need to modify, and we need to basically bring this back to about here. So we're going to have to modify this floor. We're going to have to modify the base here. Basically we want this to be the point. It is going to mean that we might leave these connectors, but we'll put them way back here. So and this shouldn't be too much of an issue in that sense, because it prints from this position. So let's just see. So yeah, let's get stuck into it. And since these are copies, I just want to double check that. Yes, it is. I'm going to add these to the milestones layer, because I want to be able to turn on and off with these for the time being. So let's just start with the bottom, and what I want to do is grab the stuff I want to retain. So I'm just actually going to cut out along the edge, if you will, and we'll see about what we need to sort of like recreate. Let's see. So we finally enter the working phase. This is a bit of an issue, but we're just gonna, I think, grab along there, grab there. Alright, and then along here. So hopefully if I do a cut, and actually we'll turn off the lighting so things go smoother. So I'm just going to separate this, and hopefully if I double click this now it's going to be its own thing, which it is. So I'm just going to grab this here at the front. There we go. And we're just going to pull this back essentially so it starts here instead. So this is what we're looking to sort of like make arrangements for. Now, I still want to make it so that if you really wanted to attach the cockpit so it's recessed, you could. If you really want to put an extender or something in there, you could. If you want to put that airlock front that we have in here, you could. This is going to alter the shape of the ship, which is fine. Actually, I'm going to move this back because I didn't grab these little nurnies along with it. So again, none of these concepts were going to be finished today, but I thought it would just be a cool little project to do. And the reason why I want to move the pivot point to the front is because I know that's aligned to a grid properly. I've probably got this set to 1/8 of an inch, I'd say, at the moment. Let me double check that. So that should be there, if that's done properly. And you can kind of see the halfway point of that open lock clip there is where we want to be. And yeah, well, essentially, I think we'll be moving those clips over by one. So I don't think it will affect the floor as much. And in fact, that's a pretty quick fix in and of itself. But yeah, there are other things that we want to get rid of and we want to reorient. So for example, we still need to snap this together. So we probably want to grab that open lock port here. This is an older style one. You can kind of tell by how high, how large this cavity is. Early open lock stuff, I think printers were just far less reliable. I think I got into 3D printing in 2016. Things have gotten way more reliable now than they were then. I will never ever in my life go back to build plates that don't have removable removable plates. That's just not fun. Alright, so that should be somewhere in the middle there. So we're just looking to orient this. Hopefully we can find a sweet spot where it's not going to... Yeah. We might have to have an alternative solution for this one. There's a little bit we can probably do. I know we do have more leeway in these clip holes too. The open lock clips don't come out that much, so I think we can probably work with this. And part of this will also be here. These don't need to be that low, so we can move that there. And then maybe actually we align this to the grid a little bit. So, yeah. Let's see. I'm not very good at questions today because I'm a little bit focused on what I'm doing here. But the other thing we can do is probably get rid of some of this, since we're not going to be having any of that in the final result. So I'm just kind of like trying to put the infrastructure in place before we rebuild the geometry. So essentially I'm probably going to cut this about there, and we'll go back and we will have to make some modification, probably to that angle. Well, maybe not. It might look great. So let's see. Michael Wagner says, it would be neat if the hypothetical containers could use Starship 2 parts. What do you mean, Starship 2 parts? It's all compatible with Starship 2 parts. Mon Capitan says, there's also the cargo containers from the Type S campaign. They will also fit in this cavity. So the main issue will probably be having something for it to rest on. That will be more of an issue. So, let us continue. Sometimes it is a bit strange just sitting and talking to myself. I'm sure it's a common complaint with people doing streams. But I really do like the fact that I can talk to people and get real-time responses, even if it's just chat. So we need to take that out. I think we might... Yeah, we'll cut it there. We'll cut all of this. Actually, we'll go all the way to here. Delete. I'm just trying to grab enough of this so that I can delete big chunks, like so. And again, now I can access this open lock clip section. And there is some intersection here. I'm pretty sure if I just bring that up to there, and yeah, the other one's fine. That clip's gonna fit just fine into that cavity. That's more of an issue here. So I think the trick will be to just pull this over a tiny bit, maybe even manually placing it like there, and then there is like some tolerance built in. The only other issue would be I could angle this, but I don't want to change where this one is, and I don't want to change where that one is, because then I'm removing some compatibility. And compatibility can be quite important. So I think the other thing to do here is remove some of these hull plates. We should just be able to grab these and be left with like some stranded parts. Let's see, that merges directly with that. So as long as we've got like a clear view, you can just do a group of like a select like so. Get rid of some of these floating areas. Now the one thing that's maybe a mild annoyance here is it would have helped to have had Realize I need to make some considerations here for where the hull is going. Oh, okay. So I was thinking about this support and how we would sort this out, but then I just realized that the wall will be built in, so it's not going to be an issue. So let's just remove that. Let's see. Mon Capitan says, be happy talking to yourself. This place might not sound like an Xbox lobby otherwise. This place might sound like. Showgirl says, I like some of those loose crates that Blasted Semiflange made, because he also created has a. I don't know what that's supposed to be. It says crabbed. I think a crate I use as a grav sled maybe. Michael Wagner says, sure, but being able to use Starship 2 parts would allow you to make a wide variety of containers that would allow for a lot of flexibility. I don't know what you mean by Starship 2 parts, because that's just open log tiles, right? And that's what we use for all of the interior. And this clip here is aligned. Well, actually, we just carry on from the floor. You could basically do that. So yeah. I think the next stage is to... I might address this real quick and see what we've got to do to move that open log port over. If I'm not incorrect, the frame is separate. Yep, that's perfect. So all we really have to do... Oh, and it's even individual squares. So all we've got to do is remove these squares and essentially take this frame, and I think it is as dirt simple as taking all of these vertexes, taking away maybe those two. That should already be aligned on the grid. So if I've got that, but vertexes, and if I move this on the grid, yeah, that's perfect. That'll print just great, as it is, in the same orientation. So it's just a little bit shorter. I don't think you'll be able to support the... Actually, the missile system should work, right? It just means there's less room to maneuver. Let's see. Yeah, the missile room still... that side won't work. You'd have to make a modified version. So that's something to keep in mind. But let's remove the bottom of the ship so that we can no. That means our if we select objects in here, we need to remove some of this from the lower hull here. We need to grab that part and just take it outside of that hierarchy. Otherwise it's not going to appear. So, oops, I did not intend to hit that. Let's see. I don't see anything more to answer Michael with. Mon Capitan says, you mean make your own containers out of open log parts? We don't really have parts that are designed to be made into containers, but we have parts that are... Yeah, we've not made a modular container. It's not the worst idea. Yeah, okay. So, again, we need to get rid of these plates. I think it's... We may as well just get rid of all of them. Because we'll recreate something that fits these open log tiles into them. And again, there are a couple of tolerances here. I think actually we could probably just go slightly up with this one. Like so, and actually, why not all the way to here? And then we'll just lower this side back down. Oop, that part I think should be it. So if we hit there. There we go. I think that solves our issues with intersection. There might be this minor tiny thing here. I think the slicer will take care of that, to be honest. So Yeah, I'm trying to get an idea about how this might look, so I think we need to remove the interior tiles. And we can start to see what that gap's going to look like, although I think I realize you guys need to kind of use your imaginations. Benjamin, upper floor roof. John has already said that that a carbonite version is a go. That might not be what he was communicating, but that's what I'm communicating now. So, yeah, there's that. Yes, these are separate. Awesome. Because that's essentially what we want to do here. We want to bring this frame back to that edge. I don't think we need that frame edge as it is anymore. I'll have to think about that one. But yeah, we want to bring this back all the way to here. So I could take... I do have a little bit longer today. I don't have to stress home. So we'll see how we go. I kind of want at least the lower hull to be concepted. Let's put that there. Oh, this is interesting. They're actually at different widths. And the interesting thing is, like, how big does it need to be to comfortably fit an open lock thing? So I think we need to have, like, the walls going halfway through, but maybe like these magnetic bulges or something, so that there's a way to snugly... Maybe there's an open lock clip under the floor here somewhere that you could put like a wedge clip in that could take like a cargo crate. I read no climb out as something else. Is there going to be an update on the Stalwart saucer? As far as I know, even though it was released, there's going to be another fragment of the bottom that's going to make it look like the USS Enterprise. Well, do I have a treat for you? Nope, I'm out. I will just quickly on the side open a second copy of Maya and we will get back to that question. I did show it off last week, but I am happy to show it off again. There will be a visualization. It's coming out on the 22nd of February, the second part. Maybe I should take a drink. Alright, Maya is open. Let's just change the project to tribes. And we will open the Stalwart Drive standalone. Wait, what? Don't save, yeah. And look at this glorious design and weep. So, there's the saucer section. I'll probably in the future actually go back and these doors, which are just, a visual element, will actually, be more functional. Basically, we're going to do the lower part without it actually connecting to the upper part, so it'll be a third month to sort of like make it compatible. And there'll be a few gaps in between. We don't know if we're going to actually offer the nacelle right now. I just want to give it a basic general look. So it may just well be like to this point, because it needs to look like a standalone ship by itself. But yes, it is a chunky boy. I kind of went to a combination of Voyager and the NCC 1701 refit of the Enterprise. So yeah, there's the general layout. You can kind of see the size of the cargo bay. There's a forward section in here. Basically, I think we'll probably do a version where instead of having this sensor at the front here, it would be like maybe where your cockpit is. So you just have that screen at the front, almost looking like a bit of a U-boat. I'll leave the impulse style engines in. But yeah, that's where we're at on that one. It is coming. The part of the reason why it's taken so long is because John was meant to do it, and then I'm like, but I kind of want to do it. So John has said he will eventually do his version, which he's put out, which is also great. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that. But yeah, this will essentially be its own ship when it's finished, because the saucer section is maybe like 2/3 the size of a Shuttle Alpha, so that's a Shuttle Alpha there. So yeah, when it's finished, yeah, you'll have a little bit of a nice little exploration ship. If you like, think of it as the next step up from a runabout, right? In between a runabout and say a Defiant. So yeah, that's that. Let's get back to it. But hopefully, no poem out. What do you think of that? Does it satisfy your question? And if the answer is not yes, why? For the love of God, why? Alright, so I want to bring these in line with the hole there. There. So this does also require us kind of making a few modifications so that this doesn't look too... like we're going to interrupt these patterns, I'd say. Or we bring this line... Let's see, hopefully, yes, that's aligned. So I think we go to there and then we start curving inwards maybe. So there's a little bit of a gap. So if you do have cargo... Oh no, the cargo is going to fit fine no matter what we do there. Okay, that's good though. So yeah, we've still got this sort of side section here that is angled. I don't know. I might need to change that. So it's more sheer. Let's see. Will the smallest pod fit in there? What is the smallest pod, Martin? Fabian. No problem out said, thanks for letting me know. Okay. So yeah, we have a lot going on. And yeah, I'm excited for the tribes. We're actually going to do a sort of like pitch video for tribes. Like kind of like what we've done with other things. Obviously not everything's painted up, but I wanted to kind of like just show off the massive collection of tribes items we put out last year. And actually I want to go up a bit further because I kind of want to create this sort of rim-like structure. So I would go up to there, then we'll bring this back down to here. Something like that. They don't always want to behave. There we go. What's everyone up to this weekend? I'm hoping to finish, or at least get a lot further in Aliens Dark Descent. I would have preferred it to be an actual pure turn-based game, but I understand why it is the way it is, because you want to add an element of stress, and it reminds me a lot of the Alien RPG, which I ran again last night, and it's going well. I feel. People have accepted my plot changes rather well. Which means Ripley is alive. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, eventually we're going to have to get rid of all of this. I think honestly, maybe we would just want to grab all of this sort of extra detail, and for this particular model, we'll just rip it out. We can always add it back again. Sorry, I need to make this part visible again. So we know our sort of border is here. So what I might do is this section we don't need. And these were all for sort of like creating a gap between parts, but we don't need to do that anymore either. Do I want to delete all that? That's fine to delete, I think. We'll just recreate that. And then get rid of these. So I don't know why I thought this would be something we could visualize in, half an hour. Of course, at the beginning I thought, oh yeah, no, but we'll just make it so that, we're just doing a little bit to begin with. So if I grab all of that, am I grabbing anything unwanted? Not really. So I want, whoops, hit the S button instead of the D button. That's not good. It actually does a keyframe. So we want that there, so that we can kind of manage where our wall's going to be. Actually, I'm going to bring this back slightly further to say in line with that clip hole, just because we want to create a little bit of a gap between the floor and the wall. And then we'll grab these two, isolate them just to grab this the side here, and we will move this over to match here. So yeah, this will, it's more extensive than I thought, but I think it'll be cool when it's done, for sure. Let's see. John Lansdowne says, shoveling snow as it is going to snow all weekend. Our snow disappeared completely in the space of a day. We had quite a lot of it, and yeah, we had 2 days in a row where there was rain and 4 degrees, and yeah, it's all gone, which is a good and a bad thing. I kind of prefer a winter with snow on the ground because it doesn't feel as dark, but can't have everything. Those old gods are not too pleased that we've moved on from them. Alrighty, so let's move this back over. I probably am going to cut this off a little in just a little bit, because I need a bio break anyway. But good chat and good interactions today. It's really nice to see so many people. Probably just in the last couple of weeks, we've like maybe increased the number of viewers by about, I don't know, 50%, which is cool. Will Richard says, what is snow? I'm guessing you're from the south, or an area that is considered south. We know all about snow here, although it has snowed a lot this year compared to what it has in the past, like on the average maybe. Maybe not for what was considered normal in the past, but certainly what I've experienced whilst I've been here. So actually we can bring this back to the grid line there, I think. Yeah. And then we'll just, if we expand these. So we're not really seeing the shape as it is gonna look, sorry. But something close, I would say. What's going on here? I think it's just a Maya glitch, but we can definitely get rid of this line. Or can we? Apparently not. Let's merge these and hope that the vertex fairy does her thing. There we go. Okay. There's a little pause there, and I'm just going to take the opportunity to save my scene just in case. So we want our inner whole wall about here. So let's bring this back to where the wall is going to go. We've got another little gap there. I think technically we could just go here. Merge those vertexes. And I'm just going to grab this couple of polygons, maybe this one too. And we'll just go up 3 times, I think, to there, there, and to there. So that's our inner whole wall. I'll probably add some detail to it. And then we can just close this off. So we're starting to take shape here. And then we probably want the hull of the ship. We want some detailing on it, right? So it's not just a case of pulling this back. But I think honestly we could just go like so, to like say there. Actually, let's make it align with that. And then we'll go there, we'll go here. sort of following the shape of the ship. It'll just make making modifications a little bit easier. So we'll probably bring the actual sort of area that you could have a cargo crate. You know what? It doesn't hurt if there's a little shelf here down the bottom, because that's maybe what we rest the cargo on, right? So it won't be too heavy. Lightning and hail in my part of the world, snow is a myth. In Virginia, oh, Southeast Virginia. Okay. I'm surprised you don't get snow at all. John Game says, cleaning and typing is difficult, but I'm glad to see you stream. It is now past 10, so time for this to come to a close. Oh, thank you, John, for keeping me in check. If Ben wants to continue, who's going to stop him? Freezing rain doesn't sound great in Ottawa. Yeah, so that's basically like a step down from hail, right? I think we had a bit of that. What I would call snain. It's not quite. It's like the brunch of snow and rain. I just really want to kind of close this off. Okay, there's some kind of funky end going on here, so I'm just going to grab the faces here, and then what we'll do is just deselect everything but this one, which was causing the issue. It is invisible, which is part of the issue in general. And what we might do is just pull that back to say these aren't aligned with that, but in theory it might be better to have them aligned with that. So let's go there, let's go to here. We'll move these ones to there, that to there, and then we might actually just create a new line there, just so we can keep things fairly uniform. So all I'm trying to do is block out the basics of where this will go, and honestly, like, part of me is doing more work than I normally would for a visualization of this kind, because for this campaign I kind of want to cut down on the amount of time we have to spend afterwards, partially because I have to design, you know, we have to finish delivery of the Last Traveler campaign, and we have to finish I need to get started on the Narcissus equivalent, the sort of alien style shuttle for the Nostromo that we'll be doing later on in the year. Of course, it's not going to be called that the same way that the Sleipnir was not called the Notanante, but certainly was an Expanse design ship. Of course, what I'm saying is not recreating the Nostromo. I'm saying creating a ship that fits into the alien universe, that feels like it has the same design language. This is a distinction for anyone that you know, might think some of our work is would upset people at Disney or other places. Actually, not really. And it's not just to do with the fact that it's our size. It's because we're not directly copying. Like this ship, for example, it is clear that it has some DNA of the Millennium Falcon in it. But it does not, it's not an outright copy of it. It is using the same kind of design language. So this is like making it feel like it could be a knockoff YT-100 series ship, without it actually, you know, being something like that. I kind of imagine it as being like, you know, the Chinese knockoff version of the Corellian Company, something like that. Maybe made by Space Vikings instead. I don't know. But that's kind of like what my thinking behind it is based on. So I realized we need to bring back this port. These are purely optional. I'm not actually using them at all in my build. But these are channels if you want to add in metal support rods. They're the same size as the ones in Beowulf. And we probably want this just expiring somewhere here. So like I said, this will be printing on this surface, this end. Well, I've got a bit of a whistle going there for a second. That blasted salmon flange asks, how big of a stretch goal would you set the refinery being dug by the Nostromo to be? $1 million would be, yes, about right. No. Like my Nostromo is not going to be in the 300 meter range. It will be about 50 meters. So a class G in the Alien RPG universe, anyway. So not too bad. Something that's manageable, size-wise. Let's see. Let's move that over there. We move that over there. Oh, we have the wrong settings there. Let's see. Up with that. And actually, I'll move it back to there, and we will go there. Now, there is a slight gap. So I just want to bring this back to about... Oh no, it's meant to go all the way over. It's kind of funny. I feel like I'm talking to myself for some reason. So that still needs to be over here. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out where this sort of shape will end. So actually, I don't like this at all. I'm just going to delete these and we'll disinclude that geometry from our sort of like inverted zone. So you might have to use your imagination, but if you imagine that we've mirrored this, the lower section, you're going to have like this cutout area here, creating those fork-like prongs of the certain iconic ship that this is kind of inspired by. And yeah, it's going to be a process to get this going. I will be able to show you the results, I'm sure, by the time we stream next week. I might try and make it printable just so, you know, it's a full-on release. But again, if you haven't already, there is a link in this video file. If you just scroll down a tiny bit, you can find the link to our Frontier campaign, and you can download the STL files for this little shuttle as a free item just for signing up to be reminded of the campaign. We're going to do some send-outs today to show off this offer. Hopefully next Friday, My Mini Factory have a promotional slot so we can get a site-wide sort of sign-up registration thing going. If we hit 5k, I'll be happy. If we hit 10 or above, I'll be ecstatic. So hopefully this can keep us going without having to go into the red at all. It's fun to work on the Delta again and to give it some well-deserved love. Let's see if there are... I think this, of our ship designs, is the most tabletop ready because there are actual Star Wars games being, you know, tactical miniatures games at the moment in the form of Legion and Shatterpoint. Of course, you would have to scale things up for those. Some people still might be playing the Star Wars RPG, but with the old Wizards of the Coast miniatures. I have a ton of them myself. So this is hopefully something that has wide appeal. If nothing else, test print this little shuttle. It's very cool, very nifty. Again, just a fun little print. I can't remember what the time is on it. Let's see. It says 9 hours and 39 minutes. I don't know about that. I think it's significantly less on the... Oh yeah, I was printing something else there. And I realized I didn't have my screen on anyway. So yeah. Let's tie this up. Thank you for joining me. Thank you guys for making the chat hard to follow today. I didn't have Albin as a helper. And we've got almost 30 people watching at once, which I know it doesn't sound like a lot to you guys, but it's a lot to us, and we really appreciate that there are actually people that, you know, like to listen. So, thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back next week, and getting really excited for getting this out to you guys. Alright, bye for now. Bye.